So very good evening to all of you. My name is Rishabh. I'm representing for Let's Talk and What After College. So to just get to know which kind of audience we are getting today for the talk, can you just type your name and city and the college on the comment or chat session so that can help us to understand what kind of audience we're getting today for the session. Okay. So, guys, Let's Talk is a webinar series that has been started by What After College, and it's we have conducted it more than 15 episodes till now. I think it's a 15th episode, 14th episode today. To give you a brief idea about what is What After College. So, What After College is working towards a vision that is to eradicate the unemployment from India by making the Indian youth job ready. व्हाट आफ्टर कॉलेज एक इनिशिएटिव की तरह काम कर रहा है कि भाई इंडिया के यूथ को इतना जॉब रेडी कर दिया जाए कि इंडिया से अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट बिल्कुल हट जाए. दैट्स द विजन दैट द कंपनी इज वर्किंग ऑन. So what we have seen right in my past 12 years of experience that lots of people have a question what to do after college, what they can do after college. So it's a common question in the mind of all the students. So to answer this question, right, we created a platform called Let's Talk, where we invite the industry integrity to share their experience, their journey and skills to the students for their learning, growth and counseling. So it's a platform that we invite people from industry. They come and share their experiences or their journey or their skill set to the student for their learning, growth, and counseling, so that the student can get a better idea what to do after college. These were some of the past events that the company has conducted. This was week 1. This was week 2. This was week 3. This was week 4. This was week 5. This week only, and so it's the 14th episode that we're conducting today. So to get an updates regarding all the events that we conduct in Let's Talk, right? You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can hit the bell icon below, or you can join our WhatsApp community. The link of the WhatsApp community is available on the chat section. So you can just join the YouTube or WhatsApp community of what after college. Right. Every student who is participating for this workshop will get the certificate, which has been associated with Triple IT Allahabad, FFS and Triple IT Allahabad. So be at the end, watch the complete video, and you will get the certificate. Right. Regarding the updates, how you're going to get the certificate, I am going to get in touch with you in the middle of the session. Right. So today we have with us Mr. Kevin Noakes. He is a vice president at Schindler India. Worked on varied role on some of the leading companies like Blue Star Limited, Tata Motors, Skoda, and Fiat. He worked in various profiles in quality and engineering stream. Is a Lean Six Sigma black belt, lead auditor for quality and environment management system, alumnus of Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies. He has been presented by the CEO of Schindler, Mr. Thomas, the most prestigious Schindler Global Quality Award for his achievement and contribution toward quality in year 2015. So, Mr. Kevin is going to speak to our audience on a topic, corporate life after college. So, over to you, Kevin, sir. You can take it ahead from here.
Thank you, Rishabh.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Noakes, and Rishabh, thanks a lot for your introduction. Well, I am this industry for around close to 25 years, of experience so far, and I worked for varied companies around close to 10 years in the automobile industry, and post that the air conditioning, and now in the elevator and escalator industry. My first company was, of course, Fiat Auto. At that point of time, there were only 3 companies, and that was Fiat, Ambassadors, and Maruti in 1995 when I joined this company. Post that, of course, I joined Skoda, then Tata Motors. I moved on to Blue Star. And Schindler India is my 5th company, and I've been working here since the past 12 years. It's been quite a long time, and today I'm a global trainer for the Schindler Group. and I handle the engineering department. But my core competency has always been in quality. From 1995 to 2017, I've been handling quality, and I've been a Lean Six Sigma black belt, as Rishabh just told you, and also, handling the lead auditor as for the ISO 9K, which is the quality management system. Then you have the environmental management system, uh, 5S, Kaizen, so on and so forth. So, well, the question is today is not about me, it's about you. And I'll try to be as candid as possible and honest. If I have to compare today between a professional life and what it was in college, I'll be very honest with you. I would any day prefer college life, any day. So, but now you're on probably the boundary between college and work life, and you're probably looking at, hey, look, what am I going to do? And today I'm just trying to give you a very candid amount of information to you on what we perceive on the other side. Well, while I was in college, there were a lot of things which I didn't know what happens on the other side, what kind of culture it would be, what kind of workload would be there. I kind of never knew how would I be selected in this company. Would the culture fit me? Would it fit my ideologies? Something that it was a little difficult for me at that point of time, because at that point of time there was no mobile phones, no websites. There was just about nothing like that. But today you have the social media, the social platform. It's so transparent throughout, and you have loads of information there which is easily accessible. And if you do not know things before joining a company, I mean, it's just you who are to be blamed, right? But then let me just start off this short presentation that I've prepared for you, so that you can have a little bit more knowledge as to how things go on the other side. And I think it'll be quite useful for you. It's based on 25 years of my experience, and not just my experience, but the experience of my colleagues, my friends, who are also into various other companies too, right? Because you have colleagues from your school days, your college days, your engineering days, your management days. There's so many colleagues that we are kind of connected, and it's important that if I can share these experiences with you, nothing like it for you, so at least you can get a head start. So if there is something in it for you, please do take it. But then do not take this as a kind of a commandment, please, because for every individual is different, right? So you need to introspect whatever I'm talking and see what is best adapted to you for your journey, towards your future. You today's executives, but tomorrow's leaders. So it's important that you hear every point that I say, because I'm not going to be talking any crap. That's for sure. I'm going to talk to you something which is very sensible for you to really understand and think and introspect, and how you can make your professional life more better. Because 10 years, 20 years down the line, you're going to be a leader in your own right. So you need to know about certain important things, and I'll just share with you my presentation, and I'll start my talk. Well, I just hope that you can all see my screen. Harsh, probably if you can just confirm to me.
Yes, sir. People can see your
Harsh,
screen,
can you
sir.
confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes, sir. People can see your screen.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, I'll just begin with a small point. I understand that most of you are in college. And, one of the primary motives when you come out of college is there are a certain amount of aspirations that you have. Some of you might be thinking big. Let's do a startup business, right? Some of you would have even brighter ideas to relocate abroad, and some would look out for a good company which meets your career goals and objectives. I would summarize it into three. I do not want to create complications out here. I would like to summarize into these three. Aspirations of the students post completion of the studies: either get a good job, relocation abroad, or do a startup. Now, when doing a startup, frankly, you need to be a really bright guy. You need to know the versatility. You need to have the versatility. To kind of understand the complete aura of business and how it is conducted. But it's also important that you understand how different organizations work so that you can experience it, right? Relocation abroad. It's after doing studies, if you want to relocate it via a job, it becomes difficult. But you can always join a global MNC and then look out for options to relocate abroad. So one of the key things that you will be aspiring to is, probably a high-paying job in a good company which meets your career goals and objectives. Okay, this is what I assume that most of you will be having. Some having more challenging milestones, but same for the other two. There are some important points. Select your organization wisely. You always need to think like, does it meet your career goals? I mean, if you are a mechanical engineer, okay, does it mean that you can go into a chemical engineering zone? Does it mean that you can go into an IT zone? Think and accordingly choose. You have spent several years of your education paying your parents' money as fees. Choose your career goals. Choose your organization wisely. There are many people who are lost in between, like, they have roles in operations, they're handling production, but they have MBAs in finance. Not that I don't say that it's okay or not okay. I'm not the one to judge that. But what happens if you are in finance and you have an MBA in finance? It actually helps you because MBA is all about a science. Okay, it teaches you, it tells you, okay, certain things which you can do within the financial stream. Not that it will not help you in your day-to-day life, even if you're in operation, but it will help you more if you're in the financial stream. But being in the operations management would do you a lot of good, right? So choose your organization wisely, which meets your career goal. Next, an important thing is that does the brand suit your ideology? I'll just give you a simple example. Like, for example, you go to a McDonald's store, and we often hear that you go to any McDonald's stores anywhere across India or in the world, the kind of quality that is there is always the same, right? But it's not that easy to get. There's a huge amount of
Uh,
discipline,
Kevin, sir,
from the top.
Kevin, sir, sorry to disturb you, sir. Your voice is actually a little low. You need to little louder, sir. People are just putting in comment.
Okay.
Yeah, that's better, sir.
Okay. So you need to choose your you need to look at the brand and whether it suits your ideology or not. Like, for example, you look at a BMW, it's like a perfection. The product is pure perfection. But then, please understand, you need to have a lot of discipline if you have to get into that company. Lots of discipline. And if you're really into discipline, then please do. And it'll also teach you a lot more than what you have, right? Brands like McDonald's, they are so much into giving you consistent quality of the product. It's very important that you understand it's not that easy to meet that kind of requirement. There's an entire chain of people who are working night and day to meet that kind of quality or that kind of consistency, right? Another thing which is very important for you, to not just go to an organization without checking its financials. Today, a lot of people who come there for interviews do not know how about the organization and the financials. Please go and check the profit and loss account. See whether they are doing well. See if there is a growth pattern within the organization. Because if there is no growth, you will not grow, right? So don't then just sit down. Done this, I've done that, and I'm not growing. If the organization is not growing, you will have difficulties in growing, provided, of course, you're a very high performer, right? Another very important aspect, is diversity and inclusion. These are very fundamental things today in today's world. And diversity includes lots of things. It can be diversity in terms of gender, it can be in terms of sex, it can be in terms of religion. There are so many things. But how is that company diverse? And is all the culture, is the culture inclusive to meet all that? Like, for example, let me give you an example. I mean, in India we have different communities. One of the communities is a Jain community, and there is a lot of restrictions when a Jain has his food. Or, for example, imagine you have a Muslim who is eating the food. They always eat the halal meat. Okay, is the organization mindful for all that? Right? So if you have a good amount of diversity and inclusion, it means that the organization cares for its employees. And another important thing is about the leadership team. Okay, it's very important to understand about the leadership team, because from there you will understand what kind of culture flows within the organization. And today, with the social media being there, it's easily available for everyone to get information. And it's ready on the platter, unlike the ages where you didn't have mobiles and social media platforms. But today you have everything which is so open and transparent. And most of the CEOs of various companies today are online, be it on Instagram, be it on LinkedIn. They're all there. So it's important that if you have made your right choice of an organization, do tend to follow them, because you will understand what their goals are, what their objectives are. And you will understand best that whether their ideologies meet yours. Believe me, if your ideologies do not meet, you're not going to like it being in that organization. So it's very important that you understand that perspective, right? I'll move on to the next slide. Choose your stream appropriately. As I was talking to you in the beginning, today, if you ask me, there is our operations head in my company who is basically having an HR background, but he's today heading the operations. He is so good in his marketing. You go to any customer and he'll get you the order and come back. And it's not orders worth few lakhs, it's millions of dollars, right? He can get it and come back. He meets these big builders like Lodhas, Runwals, and in Hirandanis, and he can get the order and come back. I mean, but if you look at his entire, kind of stream, it's from the HR perspective. But today he's in the operations. Okay, but so it's important how you choose it. If you have a kind of a good education and experience together, it helps you a lot more, right? It helps you a lot more. Now, if you look out here, one thing is very important. Do you want to go in the mainstream or in the indirect stream? This is something that you'll need to, again, choose very wisely. Okay. Now, if you look at the direct stream, sales is the front line. I mean, you take any product, you need to have sales. If you do not have sales, the company is closed, shut down. So the first and foremost thing is like sales. They are the front line. They are like the warriors. They are like the soldiers, right? So if you have that experience of sales, okay, it's very important, this particular function. But if you need to have that knack. However, if you do not have the knack, do not go there. The same thing like operations, productions. There's a huge amount of responsibility when it comes to, even if a production line gets stopped for even 10 minutes, the kind of losses could be in millions of dollars or crores of rupees, right? So they're all in the front line. Service is like almost sometimes 24 by 7. If your product gets spoiled, you know how the customer gets irate, and they call you, and you're like, you're supposed to be there at any point of the day or night. And then you have the inspection quality. However, you have a little lighter role also, like into marketing, R&D, finance, HR, what corporate quality, legal, IT, operations, the other aspects like methods, processes. These are kind of indirect. So you need to be very clear which is the stream I'm going to go through. But you have to understand one thing. If you want to go in one stream and you want to educate yourself in that stream, you have to understand that do not stick there for life. If you stick there in that stream for life, it means you do not want to be a leader. Come out of it. Move on to other areas. If you are in the top four as a direct person, handling the indirect is not this one, but you need to be going into at least two or three areas. If you're in the on the direct side, if you're in at least two or three areas, then it is great. So it's really very key that you at least experience the front line, so that you can later on understand. So if tomorrow you want to be a leader, then all this experience will count in your goal, right? And please understand, a leader is something who meets and who gets the requisite business for the company. He also has to motivate his team to meet that goal of getting profitability. So all in all, if you look at it, he has to have a varied experience. A good leader has to have a balanced knowledge of almost everything. So if you're wondering, like, why did we study so many subjects within the school? Mind you, it's all to give you that experience that tomorrow, one day, when you are the leader, or you have the balance of almost everything. So do not give all those criticisms out there backwards, saying that why did I have to study when I had to finally do only this? Please understand that you will be doing only one part when you work initially, but later on, as you grow up, you'll be handling varied departments, varied teams. You'll be handling a lot much of different cross-functional assignments, and at that point of time you really need to understand different functionalities. So it's important for you to also understand that keep your mind open to change at any point of time, so that you can learn even different areas. Okay, so that your goal is not to be versatile in just one area. It is to be a leader. 10 years, 15 years down the line, I should be knowing that yes, you are the CEO of an organization, or probably a vice president, or probably a president, right? So that should be your goal. So choose your area wisely, and preferably, if I see, in my entire experience, the guys who have moved on from the sales and then to the marketing are some of the people who have become the highest leaders within the organization, right? So just take that note, and probably you can compare it with the market, and you will understand. It's not like the other services cannot be, but understand this point. You look at the statistics, and you will understand that many of the people, who have become the CEOs, have actually worked on these direct departments, especially in the sales, marketing. They have a good customer connect, and they know how to get the business to the company, and they are the ones who normally head the companies in future. I move on to the next slide. See, while this the first two slides was about you, now the slide focuses on corporates. Now we're talking more on the other side, right? Now, what is the primary focus of a corporate? It's basically profitability, growth, having a right team, governance, trust, and culture, right? These are all some of the very important things in an organization. You need to have profitability because, see, as a company, as an owner, if you have an owner of the company, he needs to have his profits. Otherwise, why is he opening the company, first of all? I mean, he needs to have at least a 10, 15, 20%, 30% profits. Otherwise, what's the point of giving 1,000 people salaries without him earning anything? So profitability is the key in the corporate world. Growth is also essential because you're kind of improving that, the baseline in terms of the profitability. So even if it's 10%, if there's a good amount of growth and the good amount of operational revenue, you clearly have something, of a larger bucket of money in your purse, right? Having the right team is very essential. It's really essential. It's not like having all intelligent people is essential. Having the right team is very essential for a company. Governance can be in terms of technical compliance, in terms of legal compliance, in terms of IT infrastructure compliance, HR compliance. There are so many kind of compliances that a company needs to see, and hence that word called governance. Trust and culture. Without this trust and culture, there's something that no company can go ahead. The leaders have to trust their people, and the people have to trust their leaders. And all in all, you really need to have a culture of teamwork. There's a lot of things when it comes to culture, and it starts with inspiring, speaking, listening, thanking, developing, caring, celebrating, sharing, and hiring. So all these things are like a kind of a wheel. you know it's basically called as a culture framework. These are all very important things when a corporate, where a corporate needs to focus on. Okay. Now, when I look at the team, the team is very important because we're talking about you now. And if I look at the team, see, understand when anyone comes for an interview, right? He's sitting in front of you. You just need to know, a company needs to know that whether that person is the right candidate. Now, it's obviously the interview time would be half an hour, maybe 1 hour, maybe 1.5 hour or 2 hours. But within the 2 hours, he has to take a decision whether I need to select this candidate or not, whether he will be the right candidate or not. Will he be result oriented or not? Okay, these are all important because finally the boss who's sitting around there on the other side of the chair is basically the one who has to give results to the company, because your value comes in results, not in lip service. Your value comes in results. So he needs to select the best manpower, the best team in order to get the results. Okay, so one of the key things, now understand, I've been there, I've been doing a lot of interviews, selecting a lot of people, I've been training also a lot of people how to take the interviews. And one of the key things that we see in an individual is basically the attitude and the communication skills. Now, if you're looking at someone who is going to be a leader in an organization, not every one of them are going to be leaders, but you always try to focus on some of those people who can be the future leaders. And if you're looking at from that perspective, then one of the key things is his attitude and communication skills. If you do not have that, please forget about leadership. Please forget about leadership. You need to be clear, you need to be transparent, you need to be forthright, you need to be honest in your communication, and it has to be crisp and clear. And that's one of the main uh, you know uh, behaviors what a leader needs to have. Now, please look anywhere, just check and tell me which leader cannot speak. Don't give me odd examples, please. I know there will be many, but no, most of it, if a leader has to motivate his team, he has to be very good in terms of communication. Attitude and communication is one of the key topics that, a boss or a manager who's sitting across the table will look at it. Now, how does he see it? He sees it basically how you come, how you dress, how you behave, how you communicate. I will just tell you, please tell me, because you do not have much of experience in the industry. So I'll just tell you, please tell me what is the best subject you like, and just speak over it. And I mean, it depends, like how you speak, how you give clarity on that subject is what we see. We are not interested in the technicalities of what you're telling, but we are interested in how you communicate, right? Because when we want to check your true credentials, we will ask you the technical questions, and at that point of time, your true colors will come out in terms of technicalities. Because see, in when you're doing your college life, we always think like this, SSC, then HSC, then your engineering. I mean, that's how it is. But no one thinks in between, right? So it's just that one exam, we have to get that good marks, and that's it. We get good, we get a good percentage, you get a good job. But that's not how it works. So if you're looking at someone who can be a future leader, what we do is like we go on a little, we go on a little deeply. Okay, we look at his qualifications on in the 10th, in the 12th, in his engineering, but that does not look that that's not the thing that we are impressed on. Today, if you look at, almost 50% of the people get over 90%. So how do you expect? What do you expect? In today's term, over 90% of the people, are considered as 90% percentage and above are considered to be very intelligent. Okay, but that is not an intelligence quotient at all. It's how he replies to the questions. Technical questions is what is important. Key. Okay, now there are other people who are average. That does not mean that he is not going to get an opportunity. See, we only look at we do not look at everyone as leaders. We cannot make everyone as leaders. You can have only one leader in the organization, but there are a lot of other transactional roles. So don't look at it at like, oh, the good jobs will only go to the most intelligent people. It's not like that. So if you're looking at even the most highest companies, they don't look at everyone to be from IITs or from IIMs. They don't look at it because there are certain roles which are transactional in nature, and it can be of a smaller you know uh, uh, in terms of intelligent quotient, it will be less. So you don't need to get worried about it. Pursue your dream and you know uh, try to achieve your goal. Keep a goal and try to achieve your goal is what is important, and I'm sure you'll succeed. And when you get into an organization, try to prove yourself. So it's all very very important things for you. And of course there are other people who are below average. The below average, you have to understand where your passion lies, right? But as far as the intelligence and the other average students are concerned, you finally need to really look at it and introspect, you know your career goals, your career objectives, which kind of company you are in, and work towards that. Okay, although you have come there seeing that you are passionate about it, because you have that boundary between the 10th and the 11th, where you make a decision whether I need to go for science, commerce, arts. And when you're in after the 12th, you have a decision whether I have to go to medical engineering, other aspects like bachelor of sciences, so on and so forth. You had time for that. So we all understand that, yes, you have already made that decision. You know where your passion is, and now it's all about getting yourself in the right company, getting your career molded correctly, and going forward and becoming a leader one day, right? So coming to another topic, if I'm looking at a leader, I'm also looking at his analytical and logical thinking. That's very key. And one of the key things is like, have you got an MBA degree? Because an MBA normally has needs to have a lot of analytical thinking. The entrance test that is conducted is full of analytical and logical thinking questions, right? Now, we're not looking at any kind of management institution. The top management institutions, we're clear that this guy has a special thinking capability, but it's not that we require it from all. So you have to understand once again that, look, it's not just the intelligent people, because we don't require all the intelligent people. If you put all the intelligent people in the room, like I'm sure you see the channels, like news channels, the Republic TV, for example. There's so many people just debating on each other. Is there any outcome in the end? I mean, we don't want kind of companies like that, right? We do not want same type of people to come within a team and work. We want different people who are thinking in different ways, so that there is a diverse kind of thinking which comes into the entire framework of the organization, right? Coming to one of the very important, teamwork. How do we look into that? Okay, you see, most of the intelligent people may not be having this kind of culture of teamwork. Okay, but is he been the captain of the school? Is he been on this in the cricket team, or has he been a captain of the football team? Where all has he participated? Where he has led any team is something that we look at it, because if he's handling teams, he knows how to work in a team, right? So we look at that, like, what are the other curricular activities does he have? Okay, so intelligence is not the only thing. It's also about how he manages teams, how he participates in the team is also very important. Experience, of course, is also very key, but that normally comes is when you already have worked in your first one or two organizations. So we look into that aspect, because that's one of the most easiest thing. Like, for example, if you're working in say an automobile company, like say. Hyundai, and someone from Maruti wants a candidate. I mean, he can easily look at Maruti. He gets ready-made manpower, right? So he saves on all his training time. The training, the money for training is all saved, and he gets a ready-made manpower from day one, right? So experience counts, but that does not mean that we do not look at freshers. Freshers are some things, what we require from the lower level, who can learn the thing, work together, and then come up. We also look at it from the perspective that, look, with the new people, we bring in the new culture, right? So every year, culture changes. So we like to have new people rather than taking people who are already, you know, sedate in terms of their culture, who have come to a level in which they do not like any change. We like people who are freshers, come into the organization and bring a different taste within the organization. Finally, you know, he needs to have a result oriented behavior. So we also look at results. Where have you won any competition? Where have you, what kind of prizes have you won? These are some things that we look at it, when you look at a new candidate who is not having any experience in the industry. But so these are some things which are key. Why is all this being done? Because as I said, finally, I need to clearly have a team who is result oriented, who gives me the result what the organization demands. Now believe me, today's scenario is so very difficult, right? You have this COVID-19 which is coming out, pandemic. So many of the organizations, have a look at it, they're kind of laying out the people, and some of them are not even paying the salaries, uh, and at this point of time, what do we do? I mean, there is hardly any sales, but what do we do? I mean, if you're having a workforce of around thousands of people, how do you pay them salaries? It will probably go into crores of rupees. I mean, it's a huge hit to the company if for the past 3 to 4 months they are not working. But then understand, what is it that you can get the company in these times? What can you think out of the box is what matters. Out of the box thinking is one of the key things of a leadership. So at that point of time, if you cannot, start this way of thinking from the very nascent stage of your career, it is not going to be practical for you to be a leader in the future. So start thinking out of the box, remove the box, and start thinking. So today, what kind of a business can I get the organization in terms of in this COVID-19? Believe you me, I'll just give you a short example of what I've been doing in this past 3 months and what I've been telling my team to focus on. Today you have these elevators. You go there, you touch the elevator button, and then you go inside the elevator again, touch the floor button, and then you go to the floor, right? And you know how sensitive those buttons are, because everyone are touching everything, and then you go and touch the button, and suddenly you touch with your hand, and then you touch your nose. Probably you can get a COVID-19 positive case. You can be a COVID-19 positive case, right? And today's thing is all about what can I do? So if you look, we have, in this past 3 months, you will not believe it, the whole team is geared up to working on something called contactless solution. We have integrated things like Google Mini, Alexa. You just go and tell the elevator, hey, Google, I want to please call the elevator. I go inside the elevator, please take me to the 8th floor. And there it's done. Okay, you want some kind of gesture controlled contactless solutions. Yeah, it's done. So I'm adding value to the company, my team's adding value to the company. We're having a team of out of the box thinkers who are looking at this kind of situation and transforming it to an advantage. So these are the thinkings which kind of make you a leader someday. So please take this, that you grow slowly, but you can grow only when you start thinking in those lines, right? Now, finally, I'll just kind of give you a small insight before I wind up. It was my session was anyway for around close to half an hour. It's not a very simple topic, what this thing about life after college, but I will wind up, and if there are any questions, we can take it. But this is the final thing. There are some insights which I would like to propose to you. You need the right people with you, not the best people. As I said earlier in my uh, my presentation, that we don't require all intelligent people or all average people. No, I mean we need to keep diverse people. I mean today's scenario is like this. Let me tell you, the statistics is like this, that if you have a complete male ratio in the company, it is not that profitable compared to having diversity. Okay, so this is very key. Diversity is key in the organization. So you need to have a proper balance between male and female ratio. Having diversity in terms of religion, all these things are very important key. So you need to have the right people with the right attitude, uh, the right kind of culture to be there within the organization. And all in all, whenever you are going to any interview, try to be your honest self. Don't be don't be a kind of what you call masquerade of yourself. Do not kind of kind of showcase a wrong side of you just in order to get the job, because finally it will catch up. It is going to catch up. And believe you me, it's not that easy in an organization. Everyone will know you. Everyone will know how you work, right? So it's not that easy. So try to be as true to yourself, because the boss will understand you, the manager will understand you very clearly, and he will know whether you're the right fit or not, right? So it's a kind of a two-way thing. You need to know whether you need to know whether you're the right fit. So obviously you have to prove yourself and give your honest self, so that the manager gauges and tells whether you're the right fit or not. At the same time, while you're talking, the manager too has to also give his right self. In that ways, things work much better for the organization. Our next point, what I would like to make, is a leader is one who has a fine balance of every stream, and hence choose your stream of expertise wisely. So what I was trying to say is that, you know, when you are towards the leadership, it doesn't matter whether you're in HR or in quality or you are responsible for everything. That's it. All the people in HR, finance, quality, production, operations, IT, infrastructure, legal, they all will report to you. So you need to have a fine balance of all the work streams that are there in the organization. Okay, so these are very critical. So try to always, have a fine balance. Try to always learn. Don't just say that, look, my skills are only in marketing or in sales or in operations. My role is in Six Sigma, so I will only look into that. Try to always look into other areas. Try to diversify your knowledge, right? So over a period of time, you'll understand that, look, how important these things are, right? At the time of leadership, if you don't know these things, you will fail miserably. You will fail, and that point of time, it will be like, oh, look, what have I done? Similar to, some of the people, when they come out of college, they start thinking, when they do not get the jobs, oh, what did I do in my past college life or my past school life? Why did I not take it seriously? I mean, these are some things which will creep up. So don't waste your time when you're looking at, in the industry. And mind you, the time goes flies off. Now, the moment you join, now people will think, "Arey, now abhi shadi karna hai," right? And now to find, I mean, nowadays days, most of you all are already there with your partners, but people are also very, cynical in terms of what is going to be your future or what will be our future. So they are very particular about how your future is going to be laid out. So what kind of salary you get, what kind of house you will buy for yourself, is there going to be any amount of independence? So you will suddenly find that there is so much of pressure on you to deliver, and so much of pressure to you to perform, so that you can rise up in the organization, go to a higher level within the organization. And your willingness is there, that, hey, look, I want to be a leader very fast. I want to be an assistant manager, then a deputy manager, a manager, senior manager. I want it fast. And this is what you will start to think, over a period of time. Once you start entering an organization, you will see that cultural change within you. How what happens then. Next is, of course, Be clear about your branding. Always be active and brand yourself. I mean, especially if you're in the front line, when you where you're into sales, marketing, ensure that you're into personal branding, so that tomorrow your team may know you, but you do not just want your team to know you. You want the people who are outside your team, outside the company, to also know you. So it's important that you do your personal branding. It's very vital. The next insight what I would like to bring to you is that bring value to your company. The company will bring you value. Look, all the CEOs are there, are given crores of rupees, that you all know. But look, the more you go up, trust you me, we do not sit down even for a second. We're always having some thoughts behind our back, and we are always looking at something where in which we can bring value. Because the day we don't bring value, trust me, there is no company for us, and the fall is much more harder. So please understand that you always have to bring value to your company. So be ready for change. Be updated in terms of your communication. Be updated in terms of what's going on around you. Be updated in terms of technology, and so on and so forth. Okay. And another thing very important, that it's in a company, it's not about taking a exam. Here your performance rated is kind of, every year you will have a performance appraisal system. Some of them still follow the bell curve, but today's generation of companies, they follow the 9 box matrix tool, and try to see that wherever you are, you are at least on the top 30%. If you're below that, introspect and try to improvise. Take feedback and improvise. That's very critical for you. And if you're in the bottom 30, please understand, start looking out for a new job. Companies will not tolerate poor performers. So you will really need to come into the, always try to achieve to be in the top 30%, right? And work towards that. Always, always take feedback. Always, do not hesitate. Do not just think like, look, अभी मैंने बहुत पढ़ लिया, अभी मैंने बहुत सीख लिया, and that's it, it's enough for me. It's not going to help you. I'm learning even till today. I do not mind going to a guy even in college and asking him about certain things. I don't hesitate, because even that fellow has something for me, and which I can learn. So don't hesitate. Don't feel too much of ego in that. Always, improve. Take feedback to improvise. Being transparent, honest, being a visionary. When I'm saying about visionary, it's understanding, like every journey is all about a risk, right? So you need to understand all those in advance. You cannot just go about doing things without understanding risk. Now, for example, if I have to tell you, boss, ये ऑफिस सेटअप करना है यहाँ पे, ये लोकेशन में, हाँ चल कर देते हैं. Look, visionary does not mean just like, just go and build an office. You have to understand, you have to have a vision. What are the kind of rules, regulations, what are the laws of the land, what are the culture out there? You have to have all that visions to understand all that first, and then take a very calculated decision. And that's very key, if you are going to be one day in the top management. So so these are some of the very important points that I have to share with you. And the last thing I would like to say, do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path, and leave a trail. So, just to give you an example, when I came in Schindler India in 2008, at that time there was nothing like a quality department, and I started off the quality in Schindler India. Schindler India is a company which started off in 1998, and I was one of the first persons who started that quality, and brought the team into a pan India operations. Right, so I used to handle supplier quality, field quality, audits, ISO, all your projects like Lean Six Sigma. I used to handle it. So I've left a trail there. Even after moving out of that department in 2017, you still have a lot of things which I have left as a trail. So don't think it's new. Arey kuch nahi hai. I'll give you a simple example of how optimism works. You had two guys going into a village, and they had to, they were basically from a shoe company. Okay. And one of the guys go there, and he goes to that village, and he sees that everyone is wearing chappals or slippers. And then he comes back and tells the organization, boss, there is no point going into this particular village or this town. Everyone is wearing slippers, so let's not waste our time. The other guy goes to the village, and he also sees that the people are wearing slippers and chappals, and there's hardly anyone who's wearing shoes out there. But he comes back and tells his organization, his management, wow, there is such a lot of opportunity that we can get out of it. There is absolutely no one who's wearing shoe. I think we have a market out here, right? So there's a do same scenarios, two different thinkings. So you need to know, you need to go to a path where it's not there is no path at all, and you can leave a faster trail. And that is also one thing that I would like to leave before I close this session. uh, and yeah, I have closed the session, so thank you. And if there are any questions, you're free to answer me. I'll see that I'll try to be as honest and candid with you to reply you back.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Kevin, sir. People who have, we will have a small Q&A session, right, for next 15 minutes. If you have any question, you can type on the chat box. We will answer those questions. Sir will answer those questions. So kindly type your question in the chat box. One more thing, just to about the information regarding certificate. Right. So this is the form. You need to fill the feedback form that will given to you at the end of the session. You need to apply this password, which you mentioned on the screen, and certificate will be emailed to you at the end of the day. Right. To kindly make sure that you apply this password to get this to fill the feedback form. People have started asking questions. So this is the one of the question that
Okay. What's your opinion on experience and salary package? Is it fine to work at less pay in initial years? Because I think we get growth on the previous package, then we will not get a high growth. Uh, See, you have to understand this very important thing. Uh, look at you at down. Look at your floor. Look at the floor. There may be some dust particles out there which you even didn't bother to think of seeing it, right? Put a copper coin. You may still not look at it. Throw a gold coin, and I'm sure you'll be drawn to it. Not just you, but anyone else in the house will be drawn. Throw a gold ring there down, and you see even the topmost person will come and lift it up. Believe you me, you don't look at the package, look at how you grow in your life, how you grow in your competency. And that is what is key to your success. Don't look at all that, everything will follow, right? Today you will be like just one speck in the crowd. Tomorrow, with your knowledge, with your information, you will stand out. You will no more be that small speck in the crowd. You will be a diamond in the crowd. So just look at it. That value that will be there will always increase. So look at it from your career path, what you want and how you want to grow within yourself. That is important. Don't look at these things like salary packages right now. This is not the key. Your key is to to grow slowly, effectively, and create a mark for yourself, right? And how that happens is when you really have the key knowledge where you can really make a difference. See, when I was there in Fiat, uh, trust me, I started off my career because I loved the cars. I was passionate about cars and working with the Italians. They were also, people who worked in Ferrari, and, we had brand ambassadors like Tendulkar at that point of time. And, the Fiat Palio is something which I kind of was very key and, played a very key role in the launch. In the complete production cycle, I was one of the key members in that because I used to control the assembly lines, body shop, paint shop, assembly lines, track tests, audits, as to control the complete quality. So, one of the key things that was there in this is, uh, uh, you know, I didn't look into, all these. things like promotions and all that. I just looked at it like, what is my passion? It's cars, right? I kind of learned things. I started off small, in a small shop floor. I improvised there. I went to a larger thing, and they finally brought me to the Fiat Uno assembly line, and I excelled out there. Slowly, it went to the body shop, then the paint shop, then the assembly line. Soon they started understanding that, look, this guy is really amazing, right? The moment you tell him the trouble, he just knows 5 minutes the problem is solved. And slowly, within 7 years, I had like five jumps. I went there as a complete, uh, there is something called in-source and outsource. And I was like an outsourced guy earning just around 1,000. I didn't mind it because of the fact that, look, I don't care. I want to learn about cars. I didn't even know how to ride a car before getting into that company. But believe you me, when I started off within 2 years of time, if you had seen me how I drove a car, believe me, from here to Pune, I could reach within 2.5 hours time. And at that days, I used to ride a big 350cc bike, and I used to ride from central Mumbai to the south of Mumbai within 15 minutes time. I was so much passionate about cars after that, and it was in me that, look, I wanted to have that wheel, and I had no money. I was my father had expired. I had no money at all, and so there was no question of even having a bike at my time. But slowly, I graduated. I have those two wheelers, those four wheelers. I have everything, but it all comes about as a passion. And when you are passionate about what you're doing, you soon start learning. You start understanding more. People start looking at you, and asking you more questions. Now imagine if you are in a hospital and you have two doctors, and one of the doctors you go to and ask them, ये टेस्ट करना पड़ेगा, हाँ वो टेस्ट करो फिर हम लोग, and there's another doctor who just looks at you and says, take this tablet, and within 2 days you are all right. Look, I want a doctor. I want, that kind of a doctor for me. If today I just cannot spend 10 days in the bed, or going into what do you call as taking tests and wasting my time. I don't have that time. So please understand one thing. It's all important that at this point of time, don't look at salary packages. Look at what kind of offer you can get. This is really key. And start making an impression immediately. You will climb as fast as possible. The sky is the limit. And if you're looking at a good growth organization, you will get it in any ways. Okay. So don't worry about that. The growth is there in India. The growth is there in several companies, and you will get growth. If you can perform and you can get results. Right. So that's the answer to the question of yours. So how can we maintain ourselves for a new company and prepare for the betterment of the company? See, every company has its values and beliefs. You need to follow that. Okay, so you cannot make something new yourself, right? Uh, you need to follow that. Now, there are certain do's and don'ts in every company. You need to follow that. There are certain, like now, for example, my company, they are quite diverse. Trust you me, if we are very sensitive to anyone making crass remarks to females. I mean, even we tolerate even if you have a different sexual orientation, which means I'm talking about homosexuals, right? So you need to follow certain standards what are there in the company. Okay, now coming to the betterment of the company. So the company's one goal is always profitability and growth. What can you do for that? Can you contribute it? Actually, no. Whatever you study in college is got no match to you what you're going to see in the company. That is what there is something called training. Take all the training possible. Don't lose your time. Half the time I'm seeing like the young people that have come for the induction program, they just give a half year to it. Look, the most important thing is like when you join a company, you undergo an induction program, you meet varied people in the organization from different streams, try to understand what they have to say, try to note down every word. Don't think of it like a college where you could bunk your lectures or sleep over lectures. It's not going to help you here. So if you want to, betterment for yourself, think for yourself. I mean, the if you think for yourself, you will think of your company. So always think like, what can you do better first? So if you are doing yourself better, automatically the company will gain. But don't look at it in the very selfish way. Look at it in the way that, look, if you do something better for yourself, you will do better for your company, right? So this is my answer to you. Okay, so as an MBA student, what are the abilities needed for me in the corporate world after my college? See, as I said, it all depends upon the role. It clearly depends upon the role. Now, if you're into marketing and you need to go and talk to customers, you require a clear-cut, good communication skills and good amount of, kind of skill to understand about the products the company is selling, its advantages, disadvantages, technical capabilities. There's a lot of effort that you need to put in, right? So it all depends on what stream you are in. Okay, and mind you, an MBA, it doesn't mean that in a company you will get preference. No, it's about result that you perform. See, whatever role you've been selected for, be it in HR, be it in finance, be it in operations, you will have a role and you will have a vital few objective which is given to you. Whether you are going to score 150%. See, normally you have a range, right? Whether if you are at 100%, you are meeting your target. If you are scoring 150% of that 100%, you're over exceeding your target. What is it that you are going to do? So when those vital few objectives come, which are normally very, are not, I would say, like, they're not qualitative, they're quantitative. Like, for example, okay, I had 10 units to sell and the profit margins have to be 10%. So what is it? Have you done it at 10% or have you done it at 15%? Now 15% is 150%, right? 10% was your target and now you have got 150. Try to do that. Now, if there were recruitments, if you are in HR and you were into recruitments, and they were like, we had to recruit. Recruitment is also kind of a target to the people, so they have to recruit around 100 people in the year, and you did around close to 120, including the exits, which happened. You did overall 120. You have done 20% more than your objective, which was set. So that's amazing. If you were into sales and your sales target was 100 per year, so what would you do after 100? Would you sleep over it? No, I'm doing 200. Do it. Don't chase obscene success, is what I'm trying to tell you. And this is what even my leadership, Mr. Ashok, Ramachandran, he also says it, chase obscene success. Don't look at your objectives, try to overachieve it and chase it in a way that you meet that success in a very obscene way. Okay, so chase obscene success is what is my clear cut narrative to you. And do not just stick with your vital few objective. Always try to over exceed your objectives, and surely for sure you will meet a success in your life, wherever it is, whether it's a corporate world or anywhere. You will definitely be a success. How to handle, if the work is a burden, don't work. Sleep in the home is what is my answer to you, Karan. Okay, if work is a burden, sleep at home. Work is going to be a burden. Okay, if no one is going to give you a free salary today, right? If it starts off from your home, even the maids who come, you can imagine my wife is after her. अगर वो काम नहीं करेगी, बर्तन झाड़ू पोछा बराबर नहीं करेगा, वो पीछे रखेगा उसका. It's very clear. It's the same thing in the corporate world. If you're not doing it, you're out. I mean, there is nothing like a free salary. Gone are those days where you had all the independence. That's why in the start, if you recollect, I always said, this one thing, that if I had a choice between college and work, I would definitely select college because I was free. Work's not free. Okay, so it's going to be a burden. It's going to be a burden, when you're not going to be passionate about your work, right? If you don't like something, try another job, yeah. Try something different. Don't waste your time. And then after that, think it is a burden. Like Sachin Tendulkar, he has practiced for hours, days, years, and he still goes on practicing. आज तक has he felt like a burden? Give him a bat. He will. I've even seen videos of him that you go. He saw some people playing cricket there, and he got down from his car and started playing cricket with them. That passionate is he, right? So it's never a burden. So every work that is there has to be passionate for you. So today, if you see me, I've been having back-to-back meetings, and I have back-to-back meetings even till the end of the night. But I don't have any kind of stress. I do not have anything like that, because when I have passion to do work, I will do it. But yes, I'm mindful of the people who work under me. I try to be very clear, because from morning to evening, I don't mind solving their problem. Later on in the evening, I start working on my emails, so that I'm free at that point of time, and I have a that peace to do my work in totality, right? Is This is what I kind of follow always. And so, Karan, for you, work is not going to be a burden if you are passionate about it, right? So don't think it as a burden. And finally, that's something that will give you salary, that will give you your food, it will give you your everything, even your future wife, right? So think over it.
Uh, so how many more questions we can take? We have lots of questions. How
Yeah,
many we can take? I'm saying that we have lots of questions, sir. How many we can how much time you have to take more questions?
yeah, maybe another 10 minutes or so.
Sure, perfect.
10-15 minutes is okay with me.
Yeah, go ahead, Ash.
Okay, so if you're a mathematics students, see, there is a lot of institutes with regard to statistics, and if you look in an organization, there is statistical process control, which has got a lot of uh, you know statistics, etc. Now, when you're looking at maths, understand, maths is just not about mathematics, what you studied out there. There are a lot of other areas of maths, like even finance is all about maths also, right? It's one of the key things. Every leader that is there needs to be very good in his financial numbers, the profit and loss, very important. Okay, so there are a lot of areas in which you can go to, if you're a mathematics student. And for example, in R&D, there are a lot of things which are there, lot of options which are there, because there are a lot of calculations which need to be done. Okay, a lot of calculations and all which need to be done. You can opt in that. There is uh, statistical quality control, it's there. You can also work with various companies who create all these softwares for quality. That's also there, because they require a lot of these mathematical datas with them in order to give you results, right? A lot of software companies are there in which they would like someone with good mathematics skills to come there and to help them create softwares. So there's a lot of wide area. So it all depends upon what kind of openings are there within that sector, and how you would get that opportunity. So that is very key to you. As I said also in the beginning, that all these companies that are there, which are more on statistical, mathematical, try to get that understanding from the net, and try to follow them on LinkedIn, and for sure you will try to make inroads into those companies. Okay, so basically, like, data analytics, is not so much out here than, of course, in other countries, but it is soon catching on. And so that's the answer to the question: do corporations hire pressure with data skills or experienced professionals? See, as I said again, it's not easy to get, uh, in a growing atmosphere and a growing environment. It is not easy to get experienced people every time. That's one. Okay, and data skills. There are so many agencies out here. Especially the market research agencies. I know so many of them actually. I've I've actually the CEOs, I've worked with them so much in the past because we do a lot of research, right? This customer satisfaction surveys and all. We work with them, right? In my past companies, I've handled with them. So it's not about kind of hiring experienced professionals. Experienced professional will give you value. When you're looking at an unskilled person and a fresher, he will have to start from the scratch. So as I was trying to tell, that at all point of times, you don't expect a experienced guy to start up from the bottom, but there are a lot of these bottom level work that needs to be done. And for sure, they will look at hiring freshers who are interested in these data analytics and so on and so forth. Yeah. Is it right to take campus placement at average packages, or should I? Okay, see, it's as I said again and again. People are not looking at the key aspects. What are you passionate about? Which stream would you like to make your career? Okay, don't focus on the packages. It's not going to help you, because if you are just going to think about the packages and not look into the other aspects of whether it is passionate to you or not, you're going to be a failure. By within a year or two, you'll be out of the company having no job. So these average packages will not make any sense to you. So it's important that you first try to identify the stream which will help you make your career. And after that, mind you, the sky is the limit. Today's CEOs are actually receiving, the global CEOs are receiving 100 plus crores. So don't look at it, like it just like short term. Look at it long term. That will be helpful for you. And today you're young, so you don't have to really worry about it, in terms of those average and those short. Look at it. Okay, what can make your career move? Where can I make my career? Where can I see myself 10 years? Can I be a leader? That's what you need to see. You don't need to start, as I told you, that look, I started off with a salary of around 1000 rupees, and I had around close to 5 jumps in 7 years, and handling almost the complete shop floor. And if you take the perimeter of that particular factory, the Fiat factory, which was there in Kurla, Bombay, it would be like close to 5 kilometers. If you see Tata Motors, the one assembly line was around close to 70 cars in a one line assembly. If you look at the distance, there you could have around 70 workstations of 70 cars could be lined up. So it was that big. And if you took a perimeter of that particular company, that would be like close to, I do not know how many kilometers, because it was huge. You could not walk around the entire campus. You had to take a car or some sort of a vehicle. So, all in all, what I'm trying to say is that please focus on your goal. Don't focus on these things right now. I was passionate about cars. I went to that segment, and from then on, I became passionate about quality. I went and I did a lot of things in terms of quality. I'm still passionate about it, but I'm looking at different areas to widen my skills. I've gone to engineering, but yes, I am at the top management in Schindler. And as you see, I've never complained. I've never looked at it from the point of view about uh, growth, about salary. It just came to me automatically. I never begged for it. I never demanded for it. It just came. There were certain things in which I did in terms of jumps. I did it more for personal reasons than for growth perspective. When I moved from Fiat to Skoda, at that point of time, if you really see, Fiat as an organization was not doing well. So I thought it better to move out than to stick around till the time that the complete, the entire company closes down. Of course, then they moved from here to Pune, and of course, still today they're not doing very well. So it was a wise decision at that point of time. I moved to Skoda, but Skoda was such that was in Aurangabad. My family could not come out there. I tried to move to Tata Motors. There again, it was a good company. I tried to be there, but then, while I was applying, I suddenly got this good role, key role in the corporate, which I was kind of looking into. So it comes, with your experience and experience, and as the time goes past, all these important roles just falls in your place and just comes and you just take it. I have not gone, really telling about my salary, about my promotions, about it. It's just fallen into my lap. I've just been focusing on one thing, is about my career, about my results, and giving the management the result that it so requires. And I've always tried to chase obscene success in my life.
So this is the last question that we have.
Sorry, if your HR asks you to where you see yourself after 5 years, then you say that, sir, I progressing myself continuously that I had today. So it's not like this. It's not like this. If you see yourself 5 years from now, where do you see yourself? Okay, where do you see yourself? Uh, do you see yourself in a mid-management level, in a marketing division? It's that sort of a thing. It's not about, yeah, you need to progress continuously. You need to have certain milestones in your life that you conquer. Like within 5 years time, I will become a lead six sigma. I will be a lead auditor in ISO 9K. I will be a lead auditor in an environmental management system. There has to be a goal. It just cannot be like you're just progressing it and you do not have a milestone in front of you. You need to have that milestone in front of you and then go and move towards it. So when you are asked that question by the HR, you have to tell you first, like, look, what is my vision? What's my mission? That's the two things. Just like every company has to have its vision and mission, every professional has to have his vision and mission, and that is key. That is key. So please, kind of look into that aspect and introspect and see what is your vision and mission. Vision is something that where you would like to be within 5 years of time, and mission is something like how I am going to get there. How I'm going to get there. Like for example, okay, you have two parties which are having a war against each other, and this country says that my vision is to capture this town, right? And then how am I going to strategize it to capture this town is the mission that he has. So likewise, if you have a goal that, look, I am going to become a CEO of this company within 10 years of time. Okay, so this is very important and key. Yeah.
So thank you, and I think we are end up the.
Yeah. Yeah, fine. Okay, so thank you very much. If there are
Uh,
any questions, however,
take
you
you one.
can put it
I will take you
to
one
me.
minute, sir. Right,
Yeah,
guys, you can just type your feedback. Sir, we would like to give you a small token of thank gesture from us. The certificate that my team would like to give it to you. We'll also send you over email. Thanks a lot for coming for the talk, sir. It was great insight for the students to understand. We're getting good feedback for you also, sir.
thank you so much. To all of you for hearing my session. Understand one thing I'd like to just tell you: when you are a leader, you do not think about yourself. You need to have a attitude of selflessness. Not selfishness. So always have that attitude. You'll grow up in life for sure. All the best for your journey. And I hope that within 10, 15 years or 20 years down the line, definitely I should see you as CEOs in, big organizations which are there in India and global. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for coming for the session, sir. Thank you. Sir,
Thank
I
you
will
so
take it.
much. Bye.
Yeah, I will take it away from him. So if you want to leave, you can leave, sir. Not an issue.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.
Guys, thank you for staying for this session. It was a pleasure to have you over here. So we have a next talk on this coming Saturday, and I will suggest none of you should miss that talk. This is a talk on get fit, don't quit. We have Mrs. Diksha Chabra over here. She's founder of Diksha Chabra Fitness Consultant, right? So every person need to be fit for their in their life. So this is one of the sessions that you guys should attend, right? So it's coming on this Saturday, and looking forward for you. All right. So going ahead to this, I just give you a brief idea what our company do. Right. We conduct mentor-led online training program. The good news is that we have conducted a training program for 500 students this summer. If you have missed this program, you have missed something, right? Just try to have a demo class with us. You will love this program, right? So if you're interested for demo class, get in touch with our team at What After College. Again, we had launched special program of Microsoft, special 1 month training program for Microsoft. That's a recorded lecture with Microsoft certificate starting from 1st of July at just 999 rupees, 999 rupees. A summer training certificate, summer training program at just 999 rupees with Microsoft certification. If you're interested, get in touch with us. If any of you are interested to become a campus ambassador, you can just speak to us on this number. Right. So this is a sample of this is a certificate. I'm sharing you the feedback form in the link. Right. You can get you can check the link. You can see the feedback form. The password had been shared to you in the middle of the session. The feedback form link has been shared with you. Uh, can you share it once again? I think yeah, it has been shared. Right. Password for the feedback form link has been shared to you in the middle of the session. I'm going to just close this feedback form in the next 4 minutes, so kindly enroll right now. Can you just send it once again, Harsh? The password or the feedback session has been shared to you before. So we are going to close the feedback form in next 5 minutes. So request you to kindly fill the feedback form so that you can get your certificate by the end of the day. Hush, make sure that you close the feedback form at 5:23. If you have any question, you can ask us. It has been shared over there on the chat section. You can check this link. Password was shared before in the middle of the session. If you have attended a complete session, you must have got the password. If you're not, that means you haven't attended the session. So you won't get the certificate. We're going to close this session. Thank you all for being the part of the session. See you on in the next session on the coming Saturday at 4 p.m. I will request you if any of your friends are interested for the session, do share this link to them so that they can also participate in this in Let's Talk series in future also. Okay. Thank you. We're going to close the feedback form in the next 1 minute. 1 minute. People who are asking for password, I told you I've shared the password in the middle of the session. If you have not attended the event from the start, you won't get the password. Hush, requesting you to kindly close the feedback form. Thank you everyone for being the part of Let's Talk webinar series. Hush, you can close the feedback form. People need to attend the complete webinar to get the certificate. So kindly requesting you for next time onward, you need to attend the complete webinar. The bad luck, Deepak. I'm sorry, I cannot help you out in that. You should have written at that time. Thank you, Kriti. We have closed the feedback form. Thank you everyone for giving for being a part of the session. Right. Yeah, feedback form has been closed. Sorry for that. Right. It was just open for 5 minutes. Thank you. Closing the session. So next time onward, please attend the complete session if you want the certificate. Otherwise, you won't be provided with certificates. Thank you.